Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, taking a fun and exciting video for you guys today, and one that you're going to be very happy to hear about. That is because in recent memory, N64 decomps, recomps, and PC ports, as well as other systems recomps and PC ports have been blowing up, and it really is why I think retro gaming is making a comeback. And honestly, a lot of the links are completely disparate, and one of the number one questions I get in the comments is there a list or other sort of application that will allow us to track all of these projects in real time, and maybe even better, be able to play them? And that's exactly what has happened, because Sir Diablo, not Diablo, and I got that wrong 7 times, this is the 8th take at not getting his name wrong, absolutely nailed it when it comes to the N64 Recomp Launcher. And don't think just because it's called N64 Recomp Launcher that's all it supports. It's going to support PC ports as well as some other entries in this entire absolute landslide of retro gaming fun. It's going to be easy, it's going to make everything streamlined, and it's going to take all of the guesswork out of figuring out where do I find a certain recomp or PC port. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, got a Patreon link down below as well. And the best part is this isn't just a launcher, it'll download all of the executable files that you need to run the decomps, recomps, and PC ports on your PC today. And honestly, this is absolutely something that was sorely needed in my opinion, because anytime anyone asked me if there was a comprehensive list of these projects, I'd give them 2 or 3 links and basically say every single link misses something that the other one remembers to include. And because this is all still new as far as the recomps and PC ports are concerned, actually keeping track of where all of them are and getting them easily set up can be an undertaking. And I always have to tell people to remember the following: just because you know how to do something doesn't mean everyone else knows how to do it. That is why I do tutorials on the channel and walk people through being able to enjoy these games, because I have been a college professor of film and television, and one of the number one things you have to remember when you're teaching is you cannot assume anyone knows what it is you know how to do. The reason you're teaching is because you know how to do it in the first place. So something like N64 Recomp is going to really streamline the entire process. It's going to have a bunch of customizable features which we'll go over, and I'll basically show you how to engage with it and change some of the settings so you see a lot more of the games that are available. Because this is basically going to have all of the different recomps, all of the PC ports, and it is going to isolate them out as both stable releases that can be finished, and you can see the credits scroll, to experimental where the developers are still working on them. Now, not every single in-development recomp that we have seen that might be able to be built on GitHub will be on here. It's just one of those things. Some developers don't like to release recomps or PC ports until they hit 1.0 status. Other developers like to have people test them out. So if you've seen some test footage on YouTube of something that isn't available on GitHub, you're not going to see it here in N64 Recomp Launcher. And if we take a look, you're going to see all of the different features available, and again, you can go through all of this in the GitHub link down below, but of course I'm going to go over all of it with you as well, that way you can kind of understand what's going on. But really being able to download all of the different applications from the launcher is going to be the biggest deal out of all. And you'll see here we have all games installed only, stable only, experimental only, and custom games. Now, I installed this fresh from a version I was using just to show you what the base setup looks like. But if you want just the stable games, the ones that are going to run perfectly, you can click stable. And if you want the experimental games, stuff like Mega Man 64 and Space Station Silicon Valley, you're going to go into there. And on custom games, you can even launch things that aren't technically recomps. Because I understand the tool is called N64 Recomp Launcher, but the most recent Animal Crossing PC port based upon the decompiled Animal Crossing GameCube version can be launched and downloaded here as well. And I really appreciate that the tool doesn't just kind of specialize in those recomps. Basically anything that you can play, you're going to be able to launch it from here, and that absolutely is a big deal. And the best part is, this isn't an application that is command line. It isn't something that looks like it was put together in 2 seconds, which is always fine for these projects. Just saying, the UI here is absolutely gorgeous looking, and everything else looks insane as well. Now, if you go into settings, you're going to see in the library, you can check show experimental games and show custom games. And that way you're able to actually see everything that N64 Recomp Launcher will show, because by default it's going to be missing, and I figured that would probably trip a few people up. And don't forget, this is going to launch the game, download them, and get you into the game. But if you want to do something like an HD texture pack, you're going to have to set that up within each individual recomp, because the launcher doesn't do that. It's going to be game-to-game dependent. Something like Banjo-Kazooie Recomp and the HD texture pack, you will set that up in the game mods. I'll explain that again in just a bit. But honestly, I love this tool because it basically makes everything that much easier, including the file sourcing, which can be the biggest chore. Let's do a soundtrack sample just because I love the music here and it sounds great as a recomp. I'll be right back with a lot more launcher news. Just such great music, and that is part of the reason that I am talking about the music, because this launcher also has the ability to play around with in-game music and have that as the background for the app. But by default, I would leave everything else kind of the same unless you want to launch in full screen, which I don't do for captured. You can even do rounded windows or squared off windows for the app. Honestly, this thing basically has everything you would need. And you'll see here you can change up the background image as well as the background music. So if you want to use this as a full screen launcher in your living room and basically make it feel like you have some sort of custom recomp and PC port console under the TV, you can absolutely do that. You can change around the icon view and everything else. The only thing is, I would say maybe the Dinosaur Planet recomp image could get updated because that is a little low resolution. And if you have a GitHub API token, you can pop that in as well so you get faster downloads. But honestly, most of these games here aren't very big. But if you try to download each and every one of them at once, you might get rate limited from something like GitHub. And when you click the download button, you're going to see it gives you every single version of the game. And when you hit play again, you're going to pop right into it. And then from there, you'll end up changing the settings in the recomp or PC port themselves. That's one thing the launcher doesn't do, and that's totally fine because you want to go through the game-to-game dependent settings. You're just going to have to select everything in there you want to play around with. But this again is such a nice feature and a nice application because it really has a democratization of what's actually going on in these games. You don't need to know how to install them. You don't need to know what GitHub to go over to be able to enjoy them. You can just sit down, click a few buttons, and end up playing a game without really thinking too much about it, and that absolutely is a big deal. But like I said, depending on what mod you want to put on any given game, you have to actually do that once the game loads up. And honestly, I really like that as an approach because it allows you to understand how these modifications work, how to install them. That way you learn it once and you can do it across basically every single N64 recomp that uses the same overall quote-unquote engine. And because Bomberman 64 Recomp just came out, it's going to be included as well. This thing gets updated very quickly. Let's do one more soundtrack sample just so I can let you listen to some Bomberman music, and I'll be right back with a bit more. Just 10 out of 10 music. Now if you actually want to grab this launcher, you'll go over to the releases tab and you'll see here as of 2 hours ago, and this was updated. It definitely updates a lot. And the nice thing is the application is also auto updating. So when you open it up and if you see there is an update, just go ahead and run it, and it's definitely going to bring a lot better things to you, which is always nice to be able to update within the application and not have to grab a new zip from GitHub. But honestly, this is exactly what the N64 recomps and PC ports needed, along with the other recomps and PC ports from other platforms. I really hope the N64 Recomp Launcher continues to grow to basically host every single one of these projects, because it really takes the burden off the end user trying to find the right GitHub repo, trying to download the right files, and trying to get everything set up themselves. This basically does 95% of the work for you, and that's going to basically reduce your time down getting a game to run and give you more time to actually play the game. And at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for. We want to spend time playing fun games, and the more time we spend on setup, or the more issues we have on setup, the less time you're actually going to be having fun. So definitely check this one out. The link's in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye bye.